Welcome back to the blame game for the quarterfinals of Worlds 2016. The first round of bracket play concluded this weekend with the 1 seeds all winning quite handily over their opponents. Korea continues to assert its dominance as they are 3 of the 4 teams left in the tournament. What better way to celebrate than to blaming your favorite players for losing to the best region? We'll start out with NA's most beloved memer in Cloud9 Sneaky. The bot lane in general got a lot of attention in the comments, but Sneaky in particular for having horrendous stat lines throughout the series. Now, was this just a byproduct of being outclassed, or was Sneaky actually playing bad? Putting the Sneaky in lane memes aside for a second here, he was always actually known as being a player that wasn't easily exploited in lane and would show up in mid and late game teamfight situations. In playoffs, Cloud9 actually crutched really hard on Impact's ability to doo-doo on other top laners in order to get stuff done on the map. In his matchup versus Cuvate, not only was Impact not winning, he was actually the one getting doo-dooed on. In Game 1, Cloud9 had a slightly less favorable matchup bottom and hoping Alistair could make a ton of roaming plays, but they either flood them or got countered every single time they went looking for him. Sneaky was usually doing fine in lane before a gank or failed play came his way, at which point he and the rest of Cloud9 got ran over. In Game 2, Sneaky was even in CS for the first 15 minutes of the game. In Game 3, Cloud9's bot lane destroyed Samsung in an admittedly very easy lane matchup and took the turrets at 6 minutes in before both solo laners decided it was a good time to die. So yes, it's easy to point at the bad score lines and say Sneaky did bad, but is it really his fault for an Olaf sitting in his jungle ready to rip his face off? When judging if a player is underperforming, I tend to look out for the small instance things that they usually get right and see if they're messing those up as well. Unfortunately for Sneaky, he was messing those up. In Game 2, Cloud9's bot lane takes an awful trade trying to get Jin's 4th auto attack out and die for it. After his good start in Game 3, you can almost feel Sneaky tilt after Olaf murks him a couple times in a row. At one point, he doesn't insta-flash Poppy's flash engage despite having plenty of time to mentally prepare for it because he sees the Poppy coming. He charges up a Caitlyn Q with a Cassiopeia right next to him dealing damage to him, and later he blows a heal on Impact who was already going to get away safely with the help of Karma. I think the blame on Sneaky's fair, though maybe a little too targeted given the lack of impact some of his teammates had. Moving on to the next topic, I'm looking at the best jungler in the world in ClearLove. Most threads between 2 foreign teams don't contain too much individual blame, but there was plenty for ClearLove. EDG's starting top laner was subbed out, so it limited the pool of blamable people. I think a lot of the blame that ClearLove is picking up was because he was hyped up as the best jungler in the world coming into the tournament and has really struggled to live up to that expectation. He's been okay, but he hasn't influenced and taken over the early game the way we've seen out of other junglers. It was especially obvious against Peanut, a player who might have a right to that title as best in the world. Similar to what I said with Sneaky, I want to judge him more off small instances of his own play than just getting outperformed by enemies who are better. That said, there were a lot of small plays by ClearLove that I really just don't know what he was thinking. I have no idea what he was thinking when he stayed in this bush when the enemy had mid priority and a jungler right behind him. He ends up losing Ghost for it. I don't know why he didn't ult earlier in certain plays that hurt his team's ability to get objectives afterwards. He was very careless trying to protect his teammates and hold lanes and even lost his life for it. Even in the game that EDG won, it was mostly Scout roaming around the map on Aurelion Sol getting plays done as ClearLove struggled to get involved and had low kill participation. Game 4 was... I guess you could say... yeah, the blame's on point. The last topic is the Albus Knox Luna drafts. The wildcard underdogs got decimated 3-0 in their series, while both teams basically played the same champions 3 games in a row. This caused fans to criticize the draft, which eventually led to Licrit making a post defending their decision making. I'll put a link to the translation in the description below. I agree with some of what Licrit said. There were enough problems and disadvantages on the side of Albus Knox Luna that I don't think the drafts were particularly important. Being totally honest, the 2 teams were on completely different levels with regards to individual and team skill. I don't think there was a way for Albus Knox Luna to win the draft hard enough that it would have let them win a game. Despite that, I don't agree with their draft plan to begin with. H2K are known for their strong laning play, and Albus Knox Luna opted into losing or even matchups at best. It wasn't just that they were bad matchups, they were often giving the strongest laning meta picks over to H2K. They were basically allowing H2K to draft to their strengths, which I think is a big problem. I guess the blame is kinda correct here, but doesn't ultimately matter because Albus Knox Luna was kinda doomed to begin with. There's no High Five Comment of the Week award coming for this episode, so I apologize to any of you Redditors out there, but I just didn't really feel like there was anything worth sharing. I'm also gonna be taking care of some personal business this week, so I will not be on Riot's alternate stream for the semifinals. I'm not sure what I'm doing for them yet, so follow my Twitter below for any updates if I decide to do anything. See you guys next week. I have a Mark's macro play video coming out tomorrow looking at Peanut's counter ganking. This also has slightly to do with solo queue, so if that interests you, check back on the channel tomorrow.